boy. Good morning. How are you? Como talibu? Jumbo. Patrick, the answer is maybe. All right. All right, ladies, what's cooler than cool? Ice cold. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Wayne McDonald. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of almost 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis for gold, oil, Bitcoin, US dollar, Japanese yen, Great British pound, pathetic euro, and anything else that you want me to cover. That being said, let me remind you that trading's risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hey, let me know how I can help. That is why I'm here. I can share some experience using technical analysis. I can give you some Harvard stuff in regards to macroeconomics and finance. I've also been doing this for about 20 years, this being Forex. Before that, I was a venture capitalist. Before that, I was a high-tech entrepreneur. Before that, I worked at NASA doing aviation research. Very cool. Before that, I ran a nonprofit organization of about 3,000 people in the United States and sat on the board of directors with George Soros. I know I have to drop that name, but if I mentioned everyone else's name, you probably would know. John Allen, for example, who I believe was the president of AT&T, also sat on that board. But if I drop that name, you're like, I don't know who that is. So anyways. So thank you for being here. Ask questions. Let me know how I can help. And I am here to serve. I am, easy enough. I am a servant. I have a recommendation for you, and that is to visit tradersway.com and open up a demo account. You're going to need a broker that you trust. They earned my loyalty and respect many years ago. I invite you to give them an opportunity to do the same for you. Tradersway.com. Every trader's going to need a broker. You should have one that you think actually enters your trades into the interbanking system. If they don't do that, then what are they doing? They're trading against you. They meaning all the other brokers. So if you don't like your broker trading against you, in my experience, it doesn't seem that Traders Way does that. So I like that. Tradersway.com. All right, so this is what we were doing in the day trading group last night. Okay. Patrick wants to know the difference between momentum and speed. Momentum is the market. Speed is the price. So in FX Bootcamp, we split price and market apart in multiple ways. We split them using moving averages. We split them using oscillators, and we split them with price action. Things like pivot points, for example, are a market tool. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, so we were messing around yesterday in the day trading group in the Asian session, revisiting the idea of price action and its importance in the context of like a longer term trend as identified by like daily candles, for example. Okay. Johnny's calling it the daily encapsulation. Cool. Okay. What is Soma? I don't know what Soma is. Okay. Anyways. Okay. This idea that you start on a bigger high time frame, right? So you go high time frame, or you do fundamentals, or you do seasonality. L-I-T, or you flip a coin. I don't really give a two hoots. I almost had potty mouth in the morning. That's terrible. Okay. Okay. Well, Patrick, I'd go through the training courses. I think they're more detailed than the book because we can talk about it versus you just reading it. But anyways, okay, so going with this is a daily chart, Aussie yen. And, step one is you get to a point where you make a decision whether you're a bull or a bear. That has nothing to do with this chart per se. Okay? Technical analysis should confirm or deny this bias. Okay, so for example, if you happen to be a bear last month, or sorry, a bull last month, none of this is good for you. Technical analysis will tell you, as a bull, market conditions are not favorable. Yeah, sorry, Mahai, I'd have to see the context of Soma. I'd have to see, I'm not sure what they're referencing there, okay? Okay, so like technical analysis here is saying not favorable for bullish, not favorable for bullish, not favorable for bullish, not favorable for bullish, not favorable for bullish. Doesn't mean it's bearish. It could be, it might be, you can be. But what if you had a true bias that said this year Aussie yen will go up, or even this quarter? Okay? Then what this technical analysis is showing you is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, not favorable. Not favorable. Okay? The second part that you see here is that there's a change in direction, right about there. Because it's not doing this anymore. Instead, it's doing the opposite, right? It's not doing this. It's doing this. Okay? So anyways, you get to this point, and maybe you're using my price action pivot points. That's what this is. It's pivot points based on price action. It's updating every single candle. So you can say, well, okay, M is greater than 0, so you're a bull. And that probably occurred right around here, which for multiple reasons is actually the best part of this chart here. It's when it goes from still bearish to now bullish and you've changed your direction. Okay? Okay, so at this point, though, what do we know if you're a bull? Bulls buy low, buy higher lows, let's say, higher lows, or they buy double bottoms. Okay? That's the only thing that a bull does. Okay? So you buy, okay? You use this analysis and you say, this doesn't look ideal as it's coming down because it doesn't look ideal here because that's not low. Okay? So what would low be? Well, it has to be, remember, we're looking at higher lows. So that's the current, going back a couple of days ago, that was the current low. And we know we want to buy something higher than that, not lower than that. Like, that's not good. So we have to kind of guess, if you will. Now, we have tools for this. You could do a Fibonacci retracement, for example, or you can maybe draw your M line, your mean line, this way and say, well, at least below that, but then above this, which is one standard deviation. Okay, so this is M, and this is standard deviation below M, and that would be, by definition, a higher low, because M is sloping. Okay, M actually doesn't mean mean, it means the slope of the mean. Okay, that's why if M is greater than 0, it's a positive slope. And so if M is greater than 0, right, then rise over run is positive. Okay, it's a positive integer. Okay, so we're looking at the rise over a period of time. Okay, so all that means is bullish, right? So you get to this point where you want to buy higher lows or double bottoms. Okay, you don't really want to buy 2 standard deviations, because if it's a double bottom in something that's already bullish, then it's potentially bearish. Potentially, maybe not in that moment, but that's too far of a pullback. Typically, a double bottom occurs more like this, and it's the beginning of a trend. It shouldn't be in an existing trend. Does that make sense? Damn it, I said that again. I told my wife the other day, I don't like when she says that to me. And somehow it's since then stepped into my lexicon. Anyways, so double bottoms typically occur at the beginning of a trend, not in an existing trend. So you don't really want to plan for this, okay? Or really it should be, let's say, 2 standard deviations below the mean. That's a warning sign typically. Okay? It's pulled too far back. There may not be bulls left. You might be the last bull standing. Okay? So long story short, what I'm saying is when you get into this mode here, you're a bull. It hasn't made a higher high in days, but more importantly, if you've been a bull since this bottom and this bottom and this bottom, what you're looking at is some point here, it's going to fart around, make your higher low, and create an opportunity to buy. So at this point and this point, okay, you're going into the market as bulls. You're not even thinking the other way. And we were left with this challenge last night. We were right on that line in the day trading group. We were trading at the very beginning of Asia, and we dropped in as focused as the 5-minute chart. Wait, what day is this one? Okay. Is anyone thinking about what these red boxes are? Man, where did it put me? MT4 is stupid on this. I've had other platforms that would just drop you where you were. Oh my God, where the hell is this? Jesus, Murphy. What the hell? Where the heck are we? I gotta go. Okay, I click there. Now go back to a 5-minute. Still, there we go. All right. I don't remember what this is. I'll get to it later. Let's just remove it. So we were here last night. Let me click in. Okay. 5-minute chart. Hey, YouTubers, look, a 5-minute chart. Oh, my God. Huh? This is what everybody wants, right? Okay. Cool. So, now that we've dropped in, you can only be a bull. Okay? Why? You're bullish. You can only buy. Now, what we've done is we've trapped price. This red area is Asia open, the first 90 minutes of the Asian session. And I did the same for the London session, and I did the same for the New York session, which is starting now. And one of the things I teach is trading at the right time of day, trading at the right time of the week, trading at the right time of the month. Critically important. Okay. I'm using this red zone to emphasize how it kind of sets up that particular time frame and how it sets up the rest of the day, because really I'm thinking sometimes weeks in advance. So really, do I actually care what's going to happen over the next 4 hours? Not really, dude. Come on. Okay. I think what's most important is, let's say you look at a daily candle and you say, based on what you see on this candle, open, high, low, and close, you put together a trade plan based on a continuity or continuation of whatever that candle is, for example. Okay, and you say, oh, yesterday was bullish and we're above support and below resistance, so today will probably be bullish too. Therefore, I'm either going to buy a higher low, right, on the pullback, or a higher low on the roll reversal, on the breakout. So there's a pullback and a breakout idea. Okay? And then you drop into a smaller time frame like this and you're like, I'm going to trade Asia open. So there's two ways you can trade this. By the way, we were probably, let me do this in yellow again. We were probably about here when this was opening, and we were already talking about having it come back. It was the basic assumption of that moment that we want to buy, but we can't buy high. We can only buy low. So now that we're on a 5-minute chart, what we're looking at here is the range of that first 90 minutes. New money coming in, old money coming out. Everybody's trying to jostle for position. But remember, it's the beginning of the day. And we believe as bulls, this could be important. Now, opportunity number one is to buy low, like a double bottom type thing. Buy low at support. So we're going to look at this zone here, what I marked in gray. By the way, again, we did this last night. Okay? As we were here, we're like, we started on a higher time frame, so we believed it would do this first. And it could actually do it further down, but that's why we want to pay attention to this, where the Asia could drop through Asia, and then maybe the Europeans pick it up and drive it up. Because we're bulls. It doesn't matter if it goes down. We're not a seller because we've already identified this as bullish. So you'd be a fool to say, well, this is bullish, so I want to sell it. So it comes down to what price and what time. What are you going to pay and when? So you have to understand, like, the first line in the sand is this area here. If you believe it's going up, you want to buy as close to this as possible. Okay? And you can see, even though, let me adjust this. I have this basically set on the first wick of the first 5-minute candle, but we could set this on the first identified low. And this is just the low of the most recent 3 candles. It's like Or what was the low in the last 15 minutes? That's all that's saying. So like we can adjust it to say that is the first low of the session. You can do it. I mean, this is all subjective. But what's interesting is what did price do, price action? What was the action of price at the beginning of the Asian Open? This is New Zealand opening up. Okay, then Japan and Korea, and then later China. And this is probably the China Open. Okay, but we've already kind of established that range. I guess I could increase this and say maybe the first 2 hours if you want, whatever. I don't want to backfill. But nonetheless, you can see this is an important aspect of trading. So now, what are sort of the rules of engagement? Well, as a bull, bulls only. Now, you can flip this if your point of view is different. But I don't know why you'd want to sell in the middle of the range that is that has been bullish for weeks. So that being said, we're bulls only, and we want to buy as close to this gray line as possible. The second thing is, because that's the bottom, the next thing would be a breakout and pullback. Okay? Meanwhile, your stops are always below here. Okay? Everybody following me? So several people have logged out. Is this not what you guys want to do? This is sort of like scalping. Okay. So watch the gray line here. Okay. Now, your first thing is, Wayne, what if I bought this? Well, your stop is below here. Your stop is below this. Okay? So remember, you're either buying something that looks like this, or you're buying something that looks like this. You're buying on support. Okay? You're buying a low, kind of like a double bottom. In this case, it's consolidating before the European Open. Okay? It doesn't always do this. It's just what it's doing today. But you know what the most important thing is? You're not thinking about being a bear. Not even for 1 second. So you buy it here and you're like, drop a stop. It comes all the way back down. Now, sure, maybe when you get down to these yellow circles, you're like, please hold, please bounce, please go up, up. Okay, cool, whatever. But the thing is, you're not like, oh my God, maybe I should be selling. No. Okay. Nobody sells a higher high, bro. Okay, unless you're at that. This would be profit taking, not selling. But anyways, let's go back to it. Okay. Remember these little green candles? They're just the lows printed on every 3 minutes. So every 15, that's the 15-minute low. That's the 15-minute high, 15-minute low. Like literally one 15-minute candle. Okay. Like, dude. Okay. So they're really small, really fast candles. You can do this on a 1 minute. I don't really care. Okay. But the thing is, you are not a bear. You're not a bear. You're not a bear. Now you can see someone might be trying to do this, but you've already done your analysis. And in this point in time, you're not thinking bearish because we're above key support that you identified before we went into this. Before you even looked at this 5-minute chart, you already identified what was important to you. Now, if there's a breach, then you stop being a bull. That's cool. And you wait for a better time, which maybe could be the European Open, and then you sort of rinse and repeat. You're just like, well, you tried maybe in Asia and it didn't work out. Hey, man, that can happen. But at least you're not making poor decisions. the market conditions maybe are volatile or there's news. So anyways, so somewhere in here, okay, you were either a buyer of the bottom or a buyer of the break. Okay, let's do it this way so you can see it. You're either a buyer like one of these points, and most ideally this one because you didn't know at that point. So let's go here because this, when I was doing this training yesterday, we were here and I'm like, yeah, it needs to come down. So we buy a bottom or we buy a break. That's all we discussed. Now it took me 2 hours, but I had to break it down. You're not thinking about being a bear. You're a bull there, or both. Okay, cool. Cool. So now what? What's this? Europe is opening up. London is opening up. Okay? The question is, how relevant is this price? That is, okay, Asia open high price. Okay? Now, this is the high price for Asia, for the whole Asian session. So we could even play around with that and see if that becomes important later. Okay? We can mark that. Because, for example, if you're using a 4-hour candle, that could be the high of that candle. Okay. Okay. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Why is this interesting? Well, we were over and over and over again, bouncing through these levels, right? And then this is a key moment of time. There's the European Open in the first 90 minutes. Okay, so this is probably German Open. This is probably London Open. And we got this little range going. And it's deciding, should we be bulls or should we be bears? Okay, we have not breached the high here. Okay, nor have we even attacked this low. So suddenly, and remember, this is a stinking no good 5-minute little scalpy chart. Okay, we get this new money, we get our offsets of the market coming in, bulls offsetting bears, bears offsetting bulls, stops getting hit, limits getting entered, and then we get through that volatility and it decides instead not to make a lower low. Now that might be interesting. So you want to pay attention to these levels too. Does it say bearish? Not yet. Okay. Interesting, right? Now we're working it through. Remember, it's just 5-minute charts. If I change this to a 15-minute chart, it would just look like wicks. These are sort of just wicks, right? Wicks and real bodies, but it's right. The price action isn't bearish. Okay. Okay. Isn't this interesting now? We're kind of playing this a little bit, not perfectly, but you can see as it's trying to become more and more bullish, we're staying on top of this is the Asia Open high. Later on, we are definitely using the high for the Asian session, not just the open, not just the first 90 minutes, but the high of that session. Okay? It's become like a role reversal. That was resistance because if you remember back in Asia, we had a big rally, hit this, and then dropped. Well, now Europe is opened, we break through, and now it's support. It's a breakout. In a breakout, you always buy the dip. So remember, you're either buying at support or you're buying a breakout roll reversal. Okay. Okay. Does anybody know what this is? This dotted gray line? By the way, Sananda, I'm teaching you how to make decisions on your own. If you want financial advice, you can hire me. There's Ray. Yeah, DM4. But yeah, that's I like Milos's answer. I mean, you're absolutely right, Raymond, of course. But for the common folk, right? For the common folk, yeah, the daily conservative target. So way back in that first Asia Open box, way back in Asia last night, 7 p.m. New York time, last night, we said this is our conservative target for today. Now, you couldn't see it on a 5-minute chart because it was so far away. But this is what we targeted last night in discussing what today would likely to be. So now it depends on how much money you got. Okay. Okay. But you can email me if it's significant money. Hey, Matt, email me. Wayne@fxbootcamp.com. We can go through all kinds of scenarios and time frames. Okay. So this is our first level target that we identified 13 hours ago. This is why I always say, like, when you go into New York and someone shows up and they're asking what to do today, what that person doesn't understand is today's already done. The question you should be asking when you log into New York, you should say, hey, fellas, what's going on tomorrow? Because today is already done. We were done that 7 or 8 o'clock last night. Shoot, it's 8 o'clock in the morning now. Okay. Cool. And now this new red box is what? New York Open. That's where we are now. You can see we have a positive slope. Okay, you can see we've been holding on this level of support for quite some time. So far, right, in the first 90 minutes of the open, and now I'm calling this the open. Now I could move this if you prefer. So what time do we start? 8, right? So maybe I can update this if you want and make this move it over a little bit, get it closer to the actual New York stock market open, if you will. Therefore, I would mark this differently. Okay. And so what are we looking for? Well, if if we start doing stuff like this, what it tells us is the market is no longer as bullish as it has been. Doesn't make you a bear, but it probably should tighten up your aggression, force you to take profit, or just tell you to take the rest of the day off. But it's meaningful technically, right? Okay. So what is most ideal? Let's just pretend we do not make a lower low because this is such great support, and we don't make a higher high yet. But as a bull, what do you expect to happen? Not think. Don't tell me what you think. What do you expect if you're a bull? Well, by definition, bulls expect higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. If you don't think that, then you're not a bull, son. At the very least, you're neutral. Or you just, I don't know. I don't know. Well, if you don't know, stop trading. Why would you trade if you don't know? Weird, right? So anyways, let's just pretend that's the top of the New York Open range, not the day, just the range of the open. You have two things that you can do. You could buy here, okay? Or you could buy here after a breakout. So this would be up, down, up, down, up. Okay? Now, one of the things that bothers me, of course, and you have to look at the higher time frame, but okay, we're pretty close to targets. What is this target? Or what is this line? Okay, our best likely outcome for the day. That's the aggressive target. Okay, so here's the issue now. As we approach that, even on this lousy, no good, filthy, stinking 5-minute chart, the closer we get to this top, the more likely you're going to see something like this. It's not weekly, it's just daily target. Okay? Now, it might be weekly, but I'm not looking at that. Okay? Okay? So one thing as this is heading up, start paying attention for these bigger pullbacks. Because what doesn't exist in an uptrend is lower lows, lower highs. So you got to be on red alert now for getting close to a daily target, for example, and then suddenly having a low lower than this low. Okay? That then sets up this. That's not a head and shoulders, that's a crown pattern, but I don't care what you call it. Okay. Yeah. So everyone else is saying, yeah, we're also close to weekly. Yeah, but I'm doing simpleton stuff, right? This is basic training stuff for the masses. Now, I know boot campers know this inside and out. But the thing is, what we're doing is we're expecting the future. Okay? Once you have some experience, what you see here is really straightforward. And there's so much I'm skipping here, which is fine. Okay? But what happens as a trader as you get more experience is you're not, I mean, what you see is obvious, and what's more interesting to you is what is about to happen next. You're always thinking about sort of forward guidance, if you will. You're always thinking about the right side of your chart. Okay? You're always thinking to the right. Always thinking to the right. So, you know what that then brings in is the possibility for bears to show up, right? Cool. Now, I want to show you sort of what I'm talking about on this 5-minute chart as, you know, layers of complexity that I've pulled off this onion, if you will, right? Where we're talking about, you know, here's a target, that kind of stuff, and someone bought here, and someone bought the breakout, and now here's a target. Should you take profit? Yeah, you totally can. But I kind of went into this saying, you know, indirectly, you can just leave this alone while it forms its range, and then you decide if it pulls back here after the range is formed, you could buy it. Or if it breaks out here after the range is formed, you could buy it. Meanwhile, you're not a seller because you're a bull. Now, sellers would come in later, but they wouldn't come in now. Okay? Now, that's sort of like, I didn't say that, but by what I did say, I was indirectly saying that. Now, a more experienced trader would also know that this here, I guess I should do that in yellow again. Yellow seems to appear really nice on this. That's just a basic role reversal. So, right, a more experienced trader could be in on this if they were a bull. Okay? And what they're probably expecting, okay, from this is, let's do this in, I don't know, blue. Okay? What they're probably expecting by understanding the technical analysis is something like that. Now, they may not take that trade in this circumstance because we're so close to targets, but just the technical analysis itself. So remember, I use pivot points, and that's where these targets are coming from. If you don't understand what I mean, like, well, how did you come up? What was the math behind projecting the conservative and aggressive daily targets, the conservative and aggressive weekly targets? Well, that's analyzing the previous market and doing some basic math. Okay? Okay? That's a market analysis. If you didn't believe in that, okay, if you just said, well, it's going to keep going no matter what, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to argue that. You can have that. That's your belief. It's cool. So how would you trade in that situation? You would buy in that white circle all day long. Because you're not analyzing market. You don't really care about the market. All you care about is price. And you hear this all the time, right? Where people just come in like, everything's in the price. Good, whatever. Okay, great. So in this case, that's a beautiful little buy. I do look at market, and it concerns me. Basically, what we're saying is, yes, this is bullish. Okay, but, okay, let's say overbought. So it doesn't mean it's going to turn bearish. What it means is profit taking is likely to occur soon. And that's a big difference, right? So I might be able to like take this trade and maybe jam my stop here instead of this lower low and consider it truly a scalp. That's part of the decision-making process, right? So let me know how I'm doing today. Do you like this type of content? If so, please click the like button. Right now, less than half the people like it. And a lot of people are coming and going. So is this, again, is this something that you already know or you don't want me to cover it? Am I not being clear? Man, that coffee's good, huh? See how this makes support? Right on. See, here's a high, there's a high, there's a high, there's a high, there's a high. So you kind of do one of these things. Okay. Cool. Okay. So this is the kind of stuff we do in the day trading group. By the way, I'm only one half of the day trading group team. At the European Open, members of the day trading group meet with Ryan. Who also focuses on price action and market opens. So if you like this kind of stuff, man, oh, you could be rocking it twice a day. And day traders get access to the swing trading group. So it's 11 times a week that we meet. 11 times a week. For probably what? 20 hours a week? So that's somewhere between 80 and 100 hours a month for $200. Depending on if there's 4 weeks or 5 weeks. 100 hours a month for it's $2 an hour. I'm trying to make it as cheap as possible. Cool, huh? We can go back to yesterday here. Okay. Yesterday was really neat. Okay. I want to show you this. Here's Asia. Here's Europe. Here's the US. Okay. Okay. Check this out. Asia open. Okay. Opened here, dropped on the Asia Open, and then fully recovered. Well, remember, you're a bull. Okay? So it dropped. You're like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be a bull. Oh, thank goodness. And it recovered. Okay? And then what? You see this? This is the open price of Asia. Look at that. It became support on the European Open. At the European Open and then later in the European session, but we never broke the Asia top or the Asia Open price, right? The Asia Open price, which is kind of cool. Okay. You see this? Then later in the European session, Europe opened down, then it recovered, hit resistance, which, by the way, you see it? Okay. Remember, this price, 83,1125, was the target for buying in here or buying, well, I guess down here would have been a little more dangerous. Maybe you caught this. So you either bought that or you caught this, and this consolidation was logical because by the time New York opened, we were already done. We had already hit the logical price target for the day. Cool. Then price dropped. Why? Profit taking, profit taking, profit taking, profit taking, profit taking, profit taking, profit taking. And where did we stabilize? The European market open high. Where did Europe stabilize? See, whoever bought here hit this, profit taking, profit taking, profit taking, buy it back. Where? Asia open. Where did this stabilize? Okay. Isn't that wonderful? So you get like pachow. Okay? Pachow. Pachow. Okay? And so go again 24 hours ago after we went through this day, I'm doing the Asia Open coaching session with the day trading group, and we're right here and we analyze everything and we say down and then up. We're right here and we think down and then up. Because this price here, yes, that was yesterday's target, but we were also at the trend mean. Okay? And check it out. This is why I keep telling you, you show up to New York and you're like, what's going on, fellas? Dude, yesterday we hit New York. We're already at the projected top. Like, what do you mean, what are we doing? We're putting gas in the Lambo, dude. You're just showing up to work? Really? Okay. Okay. And we're already toppish here. Toppish. We're already toppish. Okay. Look, it even says it here. See? Bullish, profit zone, aggressive yesterday. Okay. Notice this too. This pivot might have acted somewhat as support and resistance as well, right? Okay, we hit this, came down, hit this, pachow, pachow. And look at all the little price action trades in here too. Like some people say, oh, I missed it, I can't get back in. You can't get back in a breakout? Why? Okay, up, 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 down, down, buy. 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 Up, up, up. Oh, this is the target. Stop doing it. Or, let's say you didn't know that. All of a sudden you get the lower low, lower high. Now you stop. Okay? But again, price action. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You're like, but these are just little 5-minute candles. Yeah, well, I thought this is a chart you're trading, right? So I'm always cautious in New York because we're so close to targets usually. So here's the European Open. Okay. And I'm like, you can trade this, right? Breakout, pull back. Okay, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, consolidation, higher high, higher low. So in the training course, for example, I teach you how to do things like you grab this, drag it across. That's your potential buy. Makes a new higher high. Grab this, drag it across. Okay, this is your new, right? Actually, let me do this out of order. I did it out of order. Okay, so you make a higher high. So you look at the old resistance, drag it across. There's your higher low. Makes a new higher high. Okay, does it again, higher low. Makes a new higher high. You're going to look left, drag it across. Okay, higher low. Makes a new higher high. Look left, drag it across. Higher low. Okay, you'll do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. What you might have done is look left, drag that across. And so this one was a little more scary, but when you enter, let's say in here, your stop is below this low. So you recovered, right? So again, high, look left, drag across, low. High, look left, drag it across, and you're thinking low in here. Can't be lower than that, so that's where your stop is. Okay, high, drag this across, low. No high, no low, no high, no low. High, look left, drag that across, low. So people say, oh, I missed it. What do you mean you missed it? How can you miss it? And that's how you scalp, by the way. Okay. Now, where do you expect consolidation and volatility to pick up? How about at the target? You see this? Look how clear it was. We knew it way down here. Hey, man, when you get to this level, things are going to change. And probably not in favorable ways. Look at that. See? Again, you knew we were climbing here, and then once we got there, look. Nothing, 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 nothing. Holy smokes. And then what? Now something's happening. Why? Time of day. Time of day. So as a scalper now, maybe you got this, but boy, oh boy, this is scary, isn't it? Why are we not trending up? Well, maybe we have enough up. Interesting, huh? So how will you feel about this? Let me back out a little bit. How would you feel about this if we broke lower than this price? How would you feel about it if we broke lower than this price? And then how would you feel about it if we broke lower than that price? Okay. Well, you'd be a lot less bullish for today. And did you know what day traders are thinking about? Again, members of the day trading group, we want to buy down here tomorrow. So if we got something like this now, we wouldn't be shocked, but nor would we be deterred from that, unless we've hit a bigger target. This is just, I'm only looking at, in this case, a 1 minute chart for a day plan. This is a 1 day plan. Okay? 13 hours into the plan, we might actually be done the plan. We may have fulfilled our destiny. Or there's one more hurrah up and then a bigger down. Okay? Amazing, right? What happened yesterday? Well, before New York opened, we were already done. Money in the bank, gas in the tank, take the rest of the day off. Okay? And what is this? That was today's trade plan, okay, which you could front run earlier. So you might actually, look at this and say, well, this is really helpful, Wayne. Great. I could be buying here or I could be buying here. Well, once again, what I teach is you could actually be buying here. And you knew it when we were here. It's not like it's happened after the fact. You knew that in that moment. Thank you, Maida. Is Mexican peso strong right now? Cool, because I own it. Nice. I don't know what you mean by sudden. I guess I could look at it. I know we were on support, and I've spent probably a week and a half trying to break that support. But fundamentally speaking, they've been raising interest rates now for months. And in my professional group, we've been crushing the Mexican peso. We own it, man. We've cornered the market on that peso. Okay? So if it's moving well now, well, it's because we bought so much of it. Why is Mexican peso appreciating? Because we bought them all. Yeah. Yeah, it made sense to drop it. Didn't know. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I guess we'll move on. We'll move on. So anyways, that's my scalping day trading lesson for the day. Okay. And thanks to Maida, I got 1/3 of a cigar, which is nice. They're nice cigars, so that's a good probably 20 minutes, maybe. That's fantastic. So thank you, Maida. I appreciate that. No, I know what you mean, Al. That's fantastic. Right now I got some R&Js, Romeo and Julietas, aged in cedar. Very nice. Yeah. No, so I'm very appreciative, Maida. You're very kind to me, and I appreciate your friendship. By the way, I think we've decided we're all going to fly to Nashville. It's a cheap place to fly to. The hotels are affordable. We're going to do some sort of Forex conference. How many people would attend? How many here would get together right now, like by conference? I don't know. Like if we can get together 100 people, that's a pretty small conference. But if we can get 100 people together, I think we could do some fun, interesting things, and not just like, hey, Wayne, teach me how to trade a 5A cross. I think we could do a lot of interesting, fun things outside of just staring at charts. And of course, half of it is we just want to meet another currency trader. Right? Just want to see another currency trader. Like, oh my God, are you a currency trader? Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was the only one on this island. Raymond, we would want to go in a cheap month, right? So probably like this time of year, maybe next year, or it seems like a long way off. It would be either in the first quarter, all right, or the third quarter. Okay. My second quarter, my fourth quarter, pays the mortgage, right? So maybe 1 year from now or 6 months from now. Okay. Yeah, you got it, Meta, right? Yeah, be rolling for a month, right? Yeah, so that'd be interesting, right? So it's either spring or fall, but it's got to be before the third week of August, right? So, but that puts us in Nashville, Tennessee, but in a time when it's nice and warm and there's some cool things to do. We can go on a steamboat river cruise. How many Europeans, or let's say non-Americans, okay? How many non-Americans have seen the old Western movies where they get on a steam paddle boat and they go down like the Mississippi with the big wheel at the back? Do you want to go on one of those? Okay. Raymond says it's going to take you 2 days of flight to get there and stuff. Yeah, so when I flew to South Africa, what I did is I flew to London and visited Winston Churchill's museum. And when nobody was looking, I went over the red velvet rope, sat in his chair, lit up a cigar, and smoked it. And then, went back to the airport and got on the next flight and then flew to South Africa, knowing that I would smell like a cigar. And I'm like, biatch, I just sat in Winston Churchill's chair in Winston Churchill's museum smoking a Churchill cigar. So, biatch, if I smell like a cigar, love it. I don't care. Okay? Yeah, Dubai's nice too. Yeah, Dubai's nice. It's funny that you'd have to go that way, but whatever. But like flying Virgin Galactic, Virgin Air, or whatever, is great if you're going through London, because so this is what I did in flying to South Africa. I couldn't get a first class flight from London to Johannesburg, so I got a whatever, not coach, but not first class. It wasn't business. It was something, whatever that in between is. And you're on the upper deck of the Virgin plane, right? So you're in the upper deck, and the chairs are nicer, but it's not first class. And one of the cool things you could do, though, is you can custom special order a meal. No, it wasn't business, though. It was one less than business. It's just the flight was full, man. Everyone was going to South Africa, right? So anyway, so I got this plane. So I get to my chair or seat, and the plane takes off. Everything's golden, and people start watching their first movie and everything, and all of a sudden, bing! Certain time to serve food, right? So the waitresses, I'll never forget this because it was funny. The stewardesses come up. And to the person to the right of me, the person to the left of me, or whatever, it was a big plane. I was in a good seat with an aisle in front of me. I don't remember being cramped, but I just remember there were a lot of people. This plane was huge. So anyways, the people around me were getting little boxes, and they would open them up, and they'd have saran wrap, and then they have the utensils with saran wrap, and then you get little, potato chips or something in a bag. And I just remember everyone had all this garbage, just like it was not first class, right? And they're eating cold sandwiches and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting right next to them, and all of a sudden they wheel up to me, right? I think I had like roasted duck with a beautiful salad and like this sort of like roasted potato medley, and they brought I special ordered like fancy red wine. And they serve it, and there's like steam comes off, and they pull off the tray, and off they go. And I have no garbage, and I have real knives and forks, and I'm eating my roasted duck with foie gras and potatoes, and my beautiful salad, and I had cheesecake and this beautiful, premium red wine. And everyone's looking at me like, what the? How come I don't have what he has? And I'm like, because I'm a baller. Yeah. So anyways, so from Virgin, you can do that. And I'm just saying it's pretty cool because it does elevate your experience to sit down and have a legitimate meal and clean your hands and face with actually warm towels. Because you're sitting in whatever premium coach or whatever they call it, but you can kind of get a first class experience for $10,000 less. Now your seat doesn't lay flat. You don't have a pod, but whatever. So after my meal, I just laid down, went to sleep, boom, woke up, and I'm in South Africa. I'm like, dude, that took like 15 minutes. That was a great flight. So that's one thing about flying Virgin, that you can pre-order all that kind of stuff, which is kind of nice. So a little travel hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge to those. By the way, today's sponsor is Virgin Air. When I don't always travel to South Africa from London, but when I do, I prefer Virgin Airlines. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, send them a bill. All right, cool. So, up, down, sideways. Sorry about that. I've been getting feedback that the mic pops if I get too close. So I'll try to keep this down here. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. So look at that. Nailed the Aussie. Yen's not even a great trade. This one's even better, right? Yeah, sure, Raymond. We can zip over and look at Aussie dollar. And lots of red on the screen all of a sudden. Okay. Okay. So you can see what I've outlined here. Okay, this goes back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday. Double top. Okay. Remember, I drew this in advance. If I did this Monday, I drew this in advance. Double top, lower low, lower high, okay? And now I'm projecting lower low, lower high, lower low. Not that it will do that, but that's how that would happen if it happened. The second thing is because we've identified this as support, right? We know a bull will try to buy a double bottom or a higher low. So a bull could buy here and would buy that. Okay? So here's the double bottom, maybe. Higher high, higher low. Fire for effect. Meanwhile, bears are doing their job. And we don't know, but one of these teams are going to win. Which one? I don't know. How the heck would I know? Why is Aussie strong? It has to do with the monetary and fiscal policies of China since they began their economic slowdown. Okay. New Zealand is more interesting because they raised interest rates last night, which we already planned for, I don't know, weeks ago. And so now that's occurred. Okay. What's most important here, guys, is that you've already decided to buy this double bottom as a bull, and you dropped out of a 4-hour chart okay, into a 5-minute chart, but whatever. Okay. So, for example, on this 5-minute chart, you either bought this or you didn't, or you sold this or you didn't. What's the difference? Well, one is something a bull would do. The other one would be what a bear does. And if you've done anything else, you're neither. Okay? If you're not a bull or if you're not a bear, what are you? If you're not a bull and you're not a bear, then you're a pig. What happens to pigs? Pigs get slaughtered. Hey, Brinsley, did you get your videos working? Right, Highlander. Yeah, Georgia would be pulled pork with yellow hot sauce. Yeah, so it's definitely your PC. It's not us, is the issue. Can I look at Eurocad? let's talk about that. Let's go to indices first. Okay, Euro has been weak, tried and is trying to stabilize, and CAD is strong. Okay. Okay, right now CAD is fairly strong. Here's Eurocad. Okay. All right. The plan for the day. Sell at 1.4470. Everybody in the day trading group knows how to do this with their eyes closed. The target based on that number is 1.4394. So my analysis of this is stop trading, right? In fact, if you're a day trader, exit. So once again, this is an example of people showing up in New York and we're already done. So tomorrow, right? Depending on what happens next, we don't know if it's going to do this. We don't know if it's going to do this. We don't know if it's just going to continue lower. So we don't really know, okay? But if everything closed right now, it looks like this would be our sell zone. So one of the things we'd be looking at, and maybe you could use a Fibonacci as a general guide here, okay? You would say somewhere around here later today, like maybe 5 hours from now, you short it again for tomorrow. Yeah, I believe we got them fixed, Brinsley. Well, it's not fixed. They were never broken. They were two different indicators with slightly different math, but they were reprogrammed and to be the same, so now they would be the same. I've just been busy. I just haven't released them. Okay. Couple of things to mention here. This is clearly the sell pivot. And this is clearly the second chance. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Okay. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 out. That's a standard operating procedure, day trade. Nothing complicated, nothing special about it. You would know if you sold here that you're wrong if this instead did that. So you want to be up here. Okay. Notice it's an Asian session trade. That's why I meet with the day trading group every day in Asia, because you want the trade of the day. The day trading group would prefer one trade per day. You sell that and you're done. What'd you do today? I sold it. You go to sleep and you wake up and it either did this and knocked you out, so you're out for a loss, or you wake up and you're like, oh, nailed it. You're out for a win. It's going to be one of them. Okay. Other people make 16 trades in here and can't figure out what the heck's going on. Okay. Dodging bullets, right? Okay, so going back to the methodology I just taught you, okay, charts don't tell you to be a bull or a bear. You've already made this decision. Okay, but one of the things you observe is the Asia Open, and you're like, these are interesting prices. I wonder how the rest of the day, will respond to these prices. Okay? See? Low, high. Okay? So what have I taught you? What did you learn today? You learned that you either sell here or you sell here. Or even here. Your call. Okay? I spent 5 hours yesterday making this template. There's nothing special about the template. I just made it as more of a training tool. Okay? Check this out. You ready? Wait for it. Wait. Oh, snap. Lower low, lower high. Cool Modi. Nice. Now what do we expect? Well, what this isn't showing you, and there's another level of nuance here, is that this is the likely out, or at least the conservative out. But if you were going to try to trade beyond this, right? You take this old low, oh my God. So I taught you how to do that on a 1 minute chart, right? You know that, right? We just went through it on a 1 minute chart. Here's a 5 minute chart. Okay. And so what you're looking at here is if you were a bear, okay. Remember, this goes all the way back to Asia has one of these. So Asia, Europe, okay, pre-New York, all that kind of stuff. Very nice. So here's maybe what you want to do today. Or you don't because of the target that we're at. Okay, fine. Okay, but what you're looking at is the relationship here. So again, the template is, who cares? There's nothing interesting about this template. This is the work you're supposed to be doing anyways. And then you'll say, well, this template will do it for me. Pfft. Whatever, dude. Okay? Don't look for shortcuts. Okay? Anyways, if you were going to trade, so remember, I typically get really concerned down here. Oops. Again, let me do this in yellow, I guess. I get concerned out here because what we're studying here is price. I'm only looking at price. Okay, but I also study market. And the market tells me I really need to be thinking out, either there or a little bit lower, but at some point maybe the little bit lower isn't worth the risk of this happening, because then I end up giving 30% of the money I made today back. So then I'm like, well, whether it's here or a little bit lower, maybe I don't even care. Maybe I can just take the rest of the day off and smoke 1/3 of my cigar in Maida's honor. Okay. Done. New York, done. What am I focused on in New York? Think about it. If you've been hanging with me on YouTube, what have I been telling you? Let's say for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years. That by the time you show up to New York, I'm already on tomorrow. I'm not concerned about today. I'm already planning tomorrow. I might not take the trade until the New York close. I might not take to the trade until the Asian Open. But logging in this time of day, looking to start something, you're either counter trending or you're just going to get chopped. And chopped is usually you're buying too high, selling too low, you're stuck in a range, but you're trading in a range. So both the bulls and bears are trading against you, and you're just making a disaster, ugly mess of everything. Cool. I like to spend the morning after I get some analysis going and some thought. I like to do fundamental research. Okay? The only thing left for New York usually, okay? The only thing in New York usually is like some price action scalping. Okay? But wouldn't you rather just like sell this in Asia and be done? Look at this. Let's go back a little bit. Okay? Boom. Or boom. Done. So what are you doing now? Well, if this is the out, maybe you'd have already taken profit. Or now what is there left to do? Well, you have this high and this low and then this up, but now it's coming down. And then what if it does this? What if it does that? And all of a sudden, it's complicated, man. It's complicated because you've lost a lot of market participants and maybe you're gaining them back here. And that would be sort of the one best sell of the New York session. Okay? And we call this a role reversal. And it's basic. Okay, this is in the price action course at FX Bootcamp where you learn how to do this. It's just basic price action. So maybe you sold that. That's your New York Open and you is done. Okay? See, this is the moment of truth now, right? What would a bull do? A bull wants to keep it above this. What does a bear want to do? Keep it below that. So you'd have to anticipate someone might try this and someone else might try that, right? Like bulls are thinking this. They're going to say this is the out, so there's some vulnerability here. So a bull is going to what? Buy a bottom or they're going to buy a breakout, right? Plan A, plan B, and then probably even plan C. Because it's a 5-minute chart, so you can scalp. Cool. What's a bear thinking? Well, they already sold that. So they might sell that. Okay? And then it comes up, then, I don't know, once again, they might do that. Okay? But I'd rather you buy low, jam the stop, or sell high, jam the stop, and then skip all of this. That's amateur hour in there. Okay. I didn't save it. Actually, that's supposed to be 1600, isn't it? Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe a little less harsh on the eyes. I think maybe try getting that even a little darker. Better, but not quite right. It's getting a little bit better. So one of the things I've taught you over the years is you look at sort of the confluence of the tops and the bottoms, right? We call that support and resistance. And so you can spot, like, let's say, breakouts of these zones that might be meaningful. Okay? The next level of this is like you take the old bottom and you use this as sort of the new top. And of course, we have this already. And so depending on whether you're bullish or bearish in the moment, so again, you could be a bull because this is an expected bottom. So a bull would double bottom, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, whoop, and then hopefully get this. That's what a bull would do. So you'd be interested in these support and resistance levels. And right, and the best sort of bearishness is, I think, the general plan of this, because you don't want to like sell close to the double bottom. You don't want to sell close to the M1, which is an exit, not an entry. So, okay, that's sort of a proper sort of New York session high on this role reversal. So again, someone that sold this would probably try to sell that. Bulls are coming in late and they're like profit taking, right? And they're trying for that. So I think there's only kind of two things going on here. So these levels are important. Okay? So you should be marking these. Like I literally draw these boxes all day long. That's how you should be looking at these candles. Yeah, we're losing viewers like crazy. Boring. I know, trading is boring. Those are the highs and lows of the last three candles. It's nothing. I'm just trying to show you that you should be paying attention to these levels. Okay? On a 5-minute chart, they'll be different, of course. So, for example, maybe your plan is if you find yourself lower than that, then the next thing you're going to sell is the next lower high. Okay? Or a trade plan could be you drag this across and you try for one of these suckers. If you're a bear. What I like, and like don't get hung up on this stupid indicator. I don't actually like it. Okay? I look at this as a role reversal. That's basic price action. Okay? So you would sell high up there as a trend trader. The second thing that I think is basic is this tells me that's my projected low, my conservative. It can go lower, but like I said, how much lower, and is that worth the risk of giving back? So this bottom one is my out. So I think there could be, based on profit taking, bulls might have an opportunity. Okay? It's not for me to say because what I teach you is that's out. So you're already done. Who cares? Okay? So I don't care about the indicator. Don't. Okay? It's just a training tool. But you need to be doing support and resistance yourself. Like there's a lot of things I had to tweak on this tool. It's just something I found on the internet and downloaded. I had to turn almost all of it off. And it even does things like it says this continuation, stuff like that. I can't turn it off. I'd probably have to tweak the code. I don't like any of it. I think most of it was dumb. It was way after the fact, way late, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like how it's showing you to put clusters Okay, showing you that there's these interesting areas of like, but an oscillator would show you this stuff too. This is doing the same thing as a stochastic oscillator. I was talking with the day trading group yesterday. I'm like, this is what an oscillator does. So with this is just a different version of drawing a stochastics on a 5-minute chart. Okay. But what we do is so much more important as proper day traders to say, well, this is, like that is a better role reversal. And that it's the basis of trading, right? Like this indicator is not going to do any work for you. If you don't know how to sell that, that's your problem, right? You see how basic that is? And then also to understand that this is a potential low is important as well, right? Now, on top of this, I would use weekly and monthly pivot points. Okay. So, what are these pivots? This pivot told you that the best place to sell today was right here. And the best place to exit today is right there or right here. So let's kind of remark that. Best zone for selling is here. Best zone for taking profit is there. This indicator that draws these little highs and lows, it's just a visual reminder or something. And if you're not very good at it, it's just sort of like some basic training wheels, but even then it's not very good. So that's what I was teaching members last night. Like, don't get caught up on the silly little indicator. Okay, not the point at all. This is basic price action with basic trade planning. That 95% of the value here is that you decided to be a bear. Why? I don't even care why. Ideally, fundamental or technical, right? And you'll see very often it just tells you maybe don't sell that day, try selling that day, don't. But then you're like, but it's so inaccurate. Well, part of the inaccuracy is supposed to be keeping you out. But how do you increase maybe the accuracy? And then you go to like a higher time frame for planning. Okay, what does this say? For this week, okay, this is your sell zone. Monday was a holiday. Maybe you weren't trading. Okay, so maybe you waited and just traded it like there was a previous range. But nonetheless, check this out. I know it's hard to see. The pink makes it difficult. But what color can we do this? No, that didn't work out. I guess that blue was pretty good. Oh, come on, blue. Okay. Can you see it? This fell off that price. This is a plan A type trade. This is a plan B type trade. Okay. Zoom in now a little bit more. Okay. Can you see it? What you knew is that this is a selling price. Only a bear would have it set up this way. Okay. Comes down to support. Okay. Makes a lower high. Makes a lower low. Makes a lower high. Okay. Check it out. Used to be support, now resistance. You see how beautiful that is? It's probably hard to see, but that's a wick, and this is a wick. Wick as support, wick as resistance. Basic price action. Down, 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 up, up, sell. 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 Down, 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 out. Yeah, boy. Gorgeous. That's hot. I know, right? Cool. So enough with that. Okay. Okay. Let's zoom in on the 1 minute. Okay. Zoom in on the 1 minute. Why did it collapse? Dude. 13 hours ago, we knew that was a high price. We also know it's a weekly top, not just a daily top. How many people here expected Aussie yen to drop up at near that price? Based on all the training you received, you expected such price action. Just from the knowledge of what I shared with you over and over and over and over and over. I only have biases for the dollar, based on seasonality anyways, dollar and yen. And that doesn't change. That's why it's a bias. So it's like, sir, do you still have that bias? Well, that's what a bias is. It doesn't change. So the answer is yes. Nobody here? Seriously? Come on, I know boot campers did. This is daily and weekly top, right? My pleasure, Darko. Okay. Okay. Check it out. You might recall okay, that potentially, if you were a bull, okay, if you were a bull, whatever, you have to put some more analysis in it than just this day trading. But if you're a bull, you're looking at this price here. Let's call it 83.50. Okay. In which you might buy, okay. Okay. If I exit all this stuff, which I drew for you, so let me exit all this stuff here. Ooh. This thing. I need to get that to print as a background. It's too bad. It should be a background. I should probably update it. Anyways, let's get, I think I can get rid of that. Okay. What I'm trying to show you, okay, you see this gray box, which I just drew? Can you see what's next to it? Bullish profit zone aggressive. So way back here now, 14 hours ago, 14 hours ago, we were here and we were bulls and we said, this is the most we could possibly hope for out of this trade today for a day trade. This is where we started, and we said, this is the best we could hope for. I rest my case. That's it. Join FX Bootcamp. See, I got this all marked out. How lovely, huh? Cool. Yeah, I'm tired. So I can stay and just kind of hang out for a little bit and talk a lot less, and we can just watch this market, or I can pull the plug. So we can just have some simple commentary versus me hardcore training. See you, Patty. Thank you, IBS. Cool. Yeah, I'll hang if you want. Okay, keep an eye on like connecting some of these things. Maybe that is, if anything, may be helpful. Remember, the big thing is what we expect tomorrow. Remember, we're already setting up tomorrow. If we did a conference, like I said, if we got together in Nashville, I already know the hotel I want to do it in. It's the middle of the United States. It's got a cheap airport, all that kind of stuff. The hotel is probably not too crazy expensive compared to other cities. What would you guys want me to cover? Cool, Thiago. You're welcome to join. Hey, that's all right, Raymond. Everything's cool here. We're waiting for you. The business processes. Anything specific in that, Raymond? Day trading, geopolitics, economics, money flow. It'd be interesting to bring in various experts from other industries. Be interesting. With the conference of only 100 people, obviously an expert wouldn't be interested in speaking to our little tiny group, nor could we afford to pay them because, look, a conference with 100 people, we'd be lucky to pay the bills, right? That's the thing. So, like, if 100 people paid $1,000, that's only $100,000. And if you've ever put together a conference for 100 people, dude, $100,000 is not a lot. I mean, it's it'd be very tight. But if you got 1,000 people to pay 1,000, okay, then there's $1 million. That usually that's sort of like a basic. That would be a basic conference. But then 1,000 people paying $1,000, okay. It's better, but that would be generally the starting point. But maybe we can get someone to come in at that point and, pay for the room and, give them a 5-star dinner and a public thank you, and maybe they'll do it. But, right. But we got to build up to that. Wouldn't it be nice though to get like a conference of traders? Wouldn't that be great? Oh, so Raymond, yeah, you want the one that we've talked about before where, building your own fund and raising for your fund and presenting your, not just your results like on a PowerPoint deck where you're like, okay, we made X amount of percentage and this is our, this is our Sharpe ratio and stuff like that, but actually sitting down with maybe a due diligence team or maybe talking about your let's say tradable point of view and your results in a logical fashion in a conversation. Yeah. So that one I thought to be really interesting because I'd like that conference. I want to do that really high end and really professional. And that would be the one where like, I was thinking like that would be $10,000, a person. And maybe you bring a business partner for half that. Right. But the thing is, then we can do one-on-one work. We can do group work. We can do presentations. We can do all these like, casual pitches, elevator pitches, presentations, development, but a lot of group and practice work. And like that could be like a really hardcore, you come in, let's say knowing little, but coming out like with your actual PowerPoint deck. Can you imagine a week later, let's say you're flying home and not only do you have you developed your PowerPoint presentation about your fund, but you've practiced an elevator pitch over and over and over again. You've practiced cocktail conversations about what you do and how to like convert that conversation into a meeting, not into a sales pitch. And then later on, like you've actually delivered your PowerPoint presentation, like you've done it. You're coming back and like, I have it and I've practiced it and I've refined it. And I can do the 5-minute, I can do the 15-minute, I can do the 30-minute, I can do the 1 hour, I can do the due diligence meeting, I can do the close, right? You're like, you have this. Now there's like a true output, not just, some like, oh, I learned some interesting points of view. But actual, like, it's more of a workshop than a conference, like a true workshop. Yeah. But, dude, yeah. Yeah, made us like, maybe we can just do a not so formal. Yeah, so I used to do boot camper jamborees. And that was just us getting together and doing group hugs. But boy, I'm telling you, we had such good times. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I got pitched by, I think it was the expo in New York. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to present. They're like, oh, if you give us all this money, you can be on a panel discussion, you can do a presentation. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, well, you could rent you can rent a room for your members to get together and do a party, and you can do like a private session. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm interested in that. How much is that? $5,000 an hour. I'm like, huh. All right. Pass. So typically what I did back in the day, I'd invite, so I usually got like the penthouse. When I was in Vegas, I always had a penthouse. So I would invite, 30, let's say 30 boot campers would fly all around the world to meet, and they would help me set up the booth and everything. We had such a great time. And then later I just invite everybody up to my hotel room, and very often there was like 1 or 2 kitchens. And one year I had a movie theater in my hotel room. Yeah, a nice hotel room and a movie theater. And a really nice one too. Like, I'm telling you, it was pretty epic. And so we could do these boot camper jamborees, and we just have cocktails, and I'd have, hors d'oeuvres brought up and drinks brought up, and we'd just like hang, and people would be crying and stuff. I love you, man. I love you. It was just fun. I just don't do those shows anymore. Coolio. All right, now we're getting into an interesting price zone. This is getting interesting. Okay, let me zoom back in. Yeah, so that one with the movie theater, I had all my coaches with me, and we had tickets to Cirque du Soleil. And I'm like, fellas, look, I want to hang with you guys, but I'm just so tired. I'm like, just go without me. I'm just going to stay back. I'm going to get some room service. I'm going to check out this movie theater. And they're like, okay, so off they go. And so I get my room service, and I'm eating my burger and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to put on a movie. So I put on a movie, and it was cool because, it had beautiful couches and everything, and then this giant screen, which is great. And the room was sort of circular, which is strange for a movie theater if you know anything about sound. So anyways, you have to shut these doors. So I shut the door, and I go around this credenza. So it's a big room, right? And then there's a big couch, and you sit down in front of the big screen. And I hit the button to turn it on, and it turns out all the panels on the wall are actually speakers that are behind the fabric panel. So I thought the walls were fabric for the sound, but I couldn't see the speakers. Turns out the wall was the speakers, but remember there was a curve. It was like a half moon shape, right? So anyways, I turned it on and I hear this click, 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 click all around the room. And the panels pop out and they're laser guided to see where I am sitting in the room. And all the speakers go all around the room and then angle themselves perfectly to me so that I have that the sound is hitting me at exactly the right time, right? That the center channel is hitting me at the right time and the rear channels and the side channels and the sound is bouncing off the circular walls and everything is hitting me at precisely the right way. And then it was all motorized. You can just hear them click, click. So they're unlocking and they were swinging out and then adjusting. I'm like, holy shit. Like, nice hotel room, man. Holy smokes. You're like, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, 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 as Snoop Dogg says. I don't know. Oh, well, it'd be because of the regulatory compliance. Actually, Raymond, you bring up an interesting thought. Yeah, well, let's just say then Trader's Way is conservative about that. So the feds have been known to go after boutique brokers that are offshore. And I think there was one broker, they're like, hey, man, like we don't take U.S. clients and this, that, and the other thing. Like we're not infringing on any of American laws. And they're like, well, you're trading American assets. And they're like, no, we're not. And they're like, yeah, the S&P 500 indices, yes. Therefore, you're over our jurisdiction, then yes. And then they, go after them. And sometimes, because, dude, the United States can bully smaller jurisdictions around, right? and bully, other central banks around, especially small ones, right? So they're just like, look, we don't want to be, we just want to be extra, 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 extra compliant. Not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just they want to be extra, 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 extra compliant because, well, they're risk averse, right? So it's more like that. But, okay. And so those offshores will, right, could be more at risk. So anyways, Raymond gave me an interesting thought, and it goes with what Maida was saying. What if I did like a high-end conference for those that want to do the professional side of the business, not the trading side, but the professional side? Like we start where I give an entire overview of the professional trading business. So we go through, like, let's say the top 10 most common hedge funds, and we can cover like hedge fund trading strategies. And then we could talk about the formation of those businesses, like a proper hedge fund, a managed futures fund, a managed pool fund, that kind of stuff, the regulatory kind of stuff involved, getting licensing, getting registered, going through the Series 3. Then we could talk about domiciling your corporation, and then getting into the sort of like fund math, Sorrentino ratio, is that important? Covering sort of fat tails of your distribution of returns, covering Sharpe ratios and that meaning, how to go explain your losses to a potential investor, like, going through your trade history in mathematical detail, like, all the way to the point where you've developed and refined and actually practiced your full-on sales presentation and closing a deal. Then, after doing that for 5 days or 6 days or whatever it is, then we have the non-formal event where people come from all over the world, and it's basically a cocktail party. But wouldn't it be cool? Okay, well, we got everyone together. People got on stage and gave their pitch in front of now a real audience of fellow currency traders. And then we got together and did some group work practicing your elevator pitch, which you practiced with internally, but now you got everyone together, and now you can practice your elevator pitch, and you can have a cocktail with someone and give them the 1 minute overview, the 3 minute overview, and then and you get to know each other, and then we can switch. Switch. You're like, hey, my name is Wayne. I'm a foreign exchange trader, and then the other person says, wow, that's really interesting. Tell me more. How does Forex even work, right? And you respond to that. Okay? And we practice these kind of conversations you would have with people you're meeting, and you're so good at explaining what you do and who you are, and then how to turn that into into a meeting. You don't want to do a sales pitch, you want to set up a meeting, right? And we do that. Yeah, but like have expedited. And then, but also have people get up on stage and do, let's say, the 15-minute PowerPoint deck pitch. Okay, and stuff like that. And everybody gives you some feedback. Okay, this part was great. This part sucked. This one took too long. This part was boring. This one was redundant. And you just leave with all this feedback. Not just the coach's view, but the audience view. Oh, man, let's do that. And, of course, the people that are attending, let's say, the second half of the conference, it wouldn't be the expensive. They would be more the affordable. And then we could talk about other aspects of trading, too. And so we do conjoined conferences. One on the business, and then the other one on the trading. Oh, that would be epic. Meanwhile, how much will the other guys pick up from seeing the guys go up on stage and deliver their presentations? Imagine you're handing out your your one pager. You're like, what's a one pager? Well, you're going to have a one pager. We could talk about it. We can go through the one pagers and, right. We can go through the one pagers for like 5 or 6 hedge funds and analyze them. And then we can go and develop yours. Wouldn't that be epic? I can give you one of my disclosure documents, which is like, I don't know, 83 pages long. We can go through what goes into that. Man, there's so much awesomeness that we can do. Cool. All right. So we are approaching again, like I said, we're approaching a very, very interesting levels here. This is sort of like red alert levels. Cool. Pound Swissy on target. Look at that. The same trade twice today. That's strange. Where's that this week? That's this week. Twice this week you got the same trade. Wow. That's crazy volatility, huh? My WTI up on 95, but 96 was the target, and we've hit that and instantly dropped. Thank you, pivot points. Gold pulled back to its 4-hour 21, which is a clear buy. Bitcoin pulled back to the 4-hour 21 is a clear sell. Matt, for the foreseeable future, I think we're a long way from central banks having pure digital currencies. Thank you, Gary. Okay. The thing, Matt, is what we're trading isn't an asset. Bitcoin's an asset class. What we're trading is the flow of currency over borders. So whether it's cash or a digital version, it would be that flow that we're trading, not the dollar itself. We're trading the movement of dollar. Okay? So, for example, we're actually trading exports minus imports. That's flow. Okay? If exports are greater than imports, the currency gets bigger. Okay? If exports are bigger than imports, then we're sending oil, we're sending wheat, we're sending cars, we're sending consulting services out of the country. So what do we get in exchange? US dollars, which means the foreigners buy dollars to buy this stuff from us. So if exports are bigger, dollar appreciates. Okay? If X is less than M, so M is bigger than X, then the dollar falls. Why? Because we're buying laptops from Japan. We're buying laptops from China. We're buying phones from South Korea. We're buying cars from Europe. Okay? So we're importing more, and we have to export our dollar to convert it to these foreign currencies so that we can get the import set to us. So when we import, we're actually exporting the US dollar. We import products and services, we export US dollar. So if imports are greater than exports, we're exporting the dollar to get the imports, therefore the dollar weakens. Okay? So we're not trading the dollar, we're trading the flow of dollar. So if that happened in, let's say, a digital format, would it change it? No, I don't think so. But who knows? We're talking about a whole new world, right? But that ain't gonna, nothing's gonna flip yet. Okay. Okay, I've been screaming bloody murder that we're getting to interesting prices. It's kind of interesting now for the first time in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It's trying to print a green candle. Huh? It's interesting, huh? Hey. So what might be happening, for example, okay, somewhere near that. Somewhere near that. It's a zone. It doesn't have to be an exact price. You know what I've never used before? I just noticed this. Right price label. What is that? Oh, interesting. Can I delete that now? I don't know. No. Insert arrows, right price label. Can I just do random? Nice. See, I didn't know that. That can actually be helpful. Object list. Can I get that price out of there now? Arrow. There's two arrows here. Horizontal line. What is this? 83.43. Where is that? I don't even see it. 83.43. Interesting. Just trying to figure out how to get rid of that. Oh, there you go. Found it. Dan's comment? Hang on, where's Dan's comment? What? Oh. Oh, cool. Right on, Kevin. Now, I know you get this stuff in our day trading group, but I don't know. I guess it gives a glimpse to everybody else, a glimpse of their potential, right? Okay. Okay, moment of truth. Remember, I was screaming bloody murder. We'll see what happens now. It'll probably print the green bar here. Okay, moment of truth for bulls, moment of truth for bears. Well, this is what I'm doing now, Robin, right? So I told you that I was in a bad mood the last couple of days. And so you can see what I'm doing is I am doubling down on research, doubling down on refinement, doubling down on focus. Okay. So it's sort of like you're down in the fourth quarter by 25%. What would Michael Jordan do? Give up or ask for the ball? So that's kind of it. Like you got to perform better. Okay, you can see that I put that red line there because it's a critical line. Right? Like, for example, if you were a bear, what would you do? You would sell it here or you'd sell it here. Okay? And we already identified that this is a bullish price, but also this is a bullish price. That's why when we're here, I'm like, this is a key price. This is an interesting price. This is an interesting price. Why is it an interesting price? Why is 83.44 an interesting price? Or 40, I should say. Potential central pivot point tomorrow. Okay? Now, I have 83.32 as interesting because it's a potential role reversal. Okay, so you kind of have two choices here. You wait for some sort of confirmation, try to take it north again if you're a bull, or you're in that mode. Okay, in which bulls might try again. This 83.31 should have a lot of bullish orders. Okay. So this roll reversal that we're staring at, let me do it in a different color. Okay, this roll reversal that we're staring at is critical. But that's why I've added them before. Okay. As Scotty is saying, up here we have critical daily, but also weekly technical data that suggests the top of the week and the top of the day. Okay. So now if you're like Scotty and you're a bear, okay, what happens first? Okay, profit taking. Then what? Like potentially, let's say from a bearish point of view, dum-dums. And then continuation. Okay, and now the continuation low is that you're hitting all these stops from the dum-dums. So all the dum-dums go like this. Now I'm not suggesting that buying is dumb. I'm saying from a bearish point of view, bulls would be dum-dums. Hey, dum-dum, give me gum-gum. Okay? So from a bearish point of view, okay, this is sort of an entry for them. Okay? And it starts with profit taking because these bulls, as I mentioned, were supposed to get out here. And they did. Many did, but many did not. And then many try again because they don't know. See, that's the thing. They don't know that the obvious target has been hit. So there's always going to be someone that makes a mistake. Okay. But what we don't know, okay, I think the most interesting question here is, do these bulls that bought here and exit here, will they buy it again here? That's the part we don't know. And that typically doesn't happen on a Wednesday. That typically happens on like a, I don't know, Friday, sometimes Thursday, right? Matrix is dumping by brokers is a regular event. What are you talking about? Okay, this is a clear exit. We knew that a day ago. We knew that 3 days ago. So that's not a broker. That's what you're supposed to do. Remember, that's not sellers, in my opinion. manipulation. See, I just don't believe that, Matrix. I just really don't. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying my belief system. I don't believe that for a second. Okay. Okay. I mean, look I have it labeled bullish profit zone. That's where bulls are going to take profit and exit. Previously labeled, right? Like not after the fact. Previously labeled. So therefore, if I can label it 1 day in advance, 3 days in advance, maybe 3 weeks in advance, then it's not some sort of manipulation. It's just really what you're supposed to be doing. Jim says, rule number 1 in Forex, everything is your fault. Rule number 2, if it's not your fault, it's the Russians' fault. Yeah. And Matrix, I'm not beating you down either. I'm just giving you what I believe is my belief. That's all. That's I look at it and I don't feel manipulated at all. Yeah, Scotty, I know what you're saying, and there's truth to that, right? Where if your weekly out is here, so we'll call this weekly out. Okay. What kind of person buys the daily in? So we'll call that daily in. Okay. But this is how either tops are broken or double tops are formed. Right? And we know double tops form. We know highs break. And we know not everybody looks at these, right? So not all market participants see the weekly out, that kind of stuff. So yeah, this down is obvious, but somebody is looking at this as a role reversal, and they're going to take a shot. Now, what will be most interesting is if tomorrow does this, then that really does set up the out, the lower high, and that sets up now a bearish trend where this is still just price action. Okay? And we still need to look at this from a daily point of view, where I started us today. Okay? And we're still above the mean, right? But look at this. Look where we hit our target. 1 standard deviation above the mean. Look where we started 2 days ago. 1 standard deviation below the mean. Okay? Now, what our big question is, and this is what Scottie Pippen's talking about, is there's really 2 choices now. Okay? You believe we're going to go up to 2 standard deviations, or you believe that is the top and we're going to work our way back down 1 standard deviation below. Okay? So it's like this or not. So if it does this tomorrow, that would then set up the following day, Friday, which would then set up the following day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of thing. Okay? So to me, this is mostly profit taking, not bearishness, because it wouldn't be bearish until we started breaking these levels, right? And changing the slope of the mean. And so that would look something like this. So we're not quite there yet. I believe this can go up for several more, 2, 3 more weeks, 4 weeks maybe, all the way to the Fed meeting maybe. And then I think this will reverse. So it's sort of like it could be doing it now, a little bit early. We're getting close to the end of February, but I wouldn't expect this down quite yet, but it could, of course. Okay. Scotty's using 3.3 standard deviations. What is that, a Bolly band? Yes, to Demo's question, the demo trader has a question. What should your target be per month, for example? Yeah. If you can do that for 36 months in a row, you have a great start because you'll be consistent. And you're like, well, that's easy. I can do it in one trade. Well, then that means you could also lose it in one trade. And we're not interested in you losing 2.5%. Okay. All right, here we go. There's the big number, 83.31.8. There, right? Look at that. Whoa. So we'll see. I think it's actually just kind of lower, but we'll leave it there. It's this line, but whatever. So again, to remind you what we're looking at, let's go to a 15-minute chart. Oops. And I've tried to connect some of these previous levels. I thought we had it better than that, but whatever. Okay, we're trying to say the old top. Okay, critical area now. Okay, you're supposed to mark this out. So again, see what I've done. Let's do it in yellow. See what I've done? Just looking at these old tops here. So maybe a bull starts thinking about it again up there. Also, after showing you the market open stuff, we're not far from the New York Open top. Or sorry, that's the London Open top, sorry. I'm going to change the daily pivots now to the weekly pivots. Okay. And you can see our predefined top. Okay, our predefined top. For the week. Thank you, Savvy. Make sure you subscribe, huh? So the thought here is somebody is going to think this is overbought and somebody's going to think this is oversold. Okay. I want you to think about it that way, the different points of view. That's cool, Thiago. That's what it looks like on a fiver. Okay. Do you see why I drew these things? Even on a 5-minute chart, right? It's important, right? 15-minute chart, take a look at that. You can see I haven't drawn that box very well. Let me try to get that in there a little better. Okay. So again, just kind of keep checking your environment. Keep checking your environment. Keep checking your environment. Yes, I can't grab this very well. I just can't grab that price. It's just funny. I did the other one somehow. Oh, there we go. Trying to get to that price. There you go. All right. No, not necessarily that the pound would weaken, but that the dollar and the pound both have central banks that are raising interest rates and expected to continue raising interest rates. So fundamentally, I'd be neutral on those. That's more of what I was saying. Hey, that's cool. Echo, 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 echo. 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 How funny is that? All right, well, I need to eat. That's my issue now. I got to eat. So thank you for being a subscriber to the Forex.Today YouTube community. In the description below is a link to Trader's Way to open an account. In the description below, there's a link to join FX Bootcamp for $88 a year. In the description below is a link to my book, to my chart templates, and to other resources that people have asked for over the 20 years I've been doing this. Some of those resources were created and made available to you because you asked. So have a wonderful day. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. See you later.